Okay, let's see if this launches properly. Hi, everybody. Once again, I am doing the Spirit Guide Weekly live. This is the Chromecast at the Rising Moon. I'm just making sure that we're connected. Okay, let's see. And then as per usual, I just have to shut myself up a little bit. Okay, so welcome back to the Chromecast at the Rising Moon. My name is Elaine. And on this channel, I do active magic, candle magic tarot. I do yes and no tarot. I do astrological reading tarot. And I also do what I have for you today, which is the Spirit Guide Weekly. What are your spirit guides need you to know for the date range of December 7th through December 13th, 2020? These are messages from your team, your squad, your spirit guides, those who are trying to guide you. And you need to be aware of them in that date range, although they may not manifest in that date range. I have a 4-card pick a card presentation for you. This is pile number 1. This is pile number 2. This is pile number 3. And this is pile number 4. We're going to take a moment and let you all concentrate. Pick the pile that you want to. And then it is going to go dark on the screen for just a moment as I close the camera lens and back the camera up so that you'll be able to see me in the frame as well. Although I'm not sure that's really a bonus. We're going to do that anyway. Okay, that should do it. Whichever one calls out to you, kind of stands out, that's the message you're most meant to receive. Remember, there's a different type of conjure oil on each candle. They all pertain to a specific area of life, and you can pick more than one pile. Here we go. And we're going to go up. And then we're going to go here. We're going to open this back up. Make sure everything's in the frame the way it's supposed to be. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry about the black screen there for a moment. It's the only way to really make sure that I've got everything where it needs to be. And we're back. All right, guys. Everybody has hopefully had a chance to pick their pile. We're going to do just a little bit of housekeeping and get everything ready for pile number 1. I hope everybody's doing really well. After kind of an interesting full moon cycle, I feel like the energy is really, really shifted and improved. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn on my light again. Let me go and do that right now. Yeah. All right. That will improve the illumination factor. I had something funny happen with a spell earlier this week, and I'm going to go ahead and share the story of it because I'm always talking about being careful with magic. I had an interesting unintended consequence. I was doing a road opener spell for a client of mine who was just this particularly lovely young woman. And in it, I had a whole bunch of come to me, and I used about 10 different conjure oils because it's a slightly stubborn situation. I was trying to dissolve kind of a big blockage. The day after the spell first hit, she had 4 separate people come to her and tell her they were in love with her. And she's like, So that is one of those situations where whenever you do magic, the universe is going to bring it in the way that it's meant to be brought. And although I did not plan on that, she certainly ended up with enough suitors to choose from. All right, here we go. This is pile number 1. I'm going to get started here. Your candle is anointed with fortune and fame. This is from Conjured Cardia. I'm not affiliated. I just like to mention the names of places where I get the products. As usual, I've got conjure oil both on my desk and on my person. The Gilded Tarot is bringing you the predictive spread. And fortune and fame there's a lot. I'm concentrating kind of a lot on prosperity conjure oils for the Spirit Guide Weeklies as we head into December. There's still going to be a personal relationship pile as well. I just like to make sure we've got so many people who are looking for jobs, etc., that I just wanted to make sure we were covering that very, very well. All right, so your oracle cards are practice moderation. Lord, that is something that I could really, really use to learn. I have a tendency to just overschedule myself. Live life to the fullest. Gosh, those are very related energies. Remembering that I have a tendency to pour all of my energy into one area of my life and completely neglect having a personal life at all. I have magical blessings. Whatever you're going through, you're being assisted by magical fairy blessings. The fairies say you can bless each other too. So I have been doing just a ton of magic, and I keep having to prepare energetically in my home very, very thoroughly because I'm doing a bunch of cut and clears and a couple of demonic entity removals, which like you have to be scrubbed up perfectly to get those done well. And it has really been causing things to manifest at a very high level. I've asked your angels for the angel answer card. That's about meditation. That's also about trying to tap in to your spirit guides, to your team. Open your heart to joy, joy and delight. Gosh, pile number one, I like your fortune and fame. I have diligence. And then I also have present power and victim mentality. Victim mentality and present power. So victim mentality, listen, sometimes it's really about like a feeling of nothing is going right. When is anything ever going to happen? But it's that Five of Pentacles energy where most of the time, if we are willing to kind of take an energetic reset, kind of really reassess our situation, we'll discover that like we have more than we think we do. So the victim mentality is also like nothing ever goes right for me. Why did this terrible thing happen to me? I have it so much worse than other people. We can all fall into that. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with like really reassessing your situation and going, that really was unfair. It is staying in that energy that holds you back from progress. Remember, the energy that you're dwelling in is the energy that you will attract to you. So there's a very good reason to kind of just be like, well, time to buck up and move on whenever you can. And that is not to say repress your feelings, process and then move on. Let's get going with the predictive spread. I have stuff all over my desk today. Here we go. Let's get going for the predictive spread. I'm going for December 7th through December 13th for the Fortune and Fame group. Hopefully something great will come out here. Diligence is, of course, also allowing things the time they need to manifest. All right, well, we had a bunch of like emphatic leapers. I've got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. That is, Eight of Cups in the upright. I've got the Moon in the upright. Let's take you guys. I have the Empress in reverse. I have the King of Swords in reverse. I have the Nine of Swords in reverse. I have the Four of Cups in the upright, Ace of Cups in the upright, Wheel of Fortune in the hopes and fears. An overall energy of dissatisfaction is going to be easing, but you're at that point once again where you're just kind of Two of Pentacles in reverse, out of balance. Seven of Cups in reverse. Now that can actually be spell work landing. It can also plans made. Our candle flame is jumping on this pile already. Whenever the candle flame jumps, it means that there is a message trying to come through, that we like had something with us that is trying to communicate. If you'll notice, it's almost always the pile that I'm working on. Oh, I forgot to put out my other candles. We don't want you all burning down. There we go. It's like, that's a lot of flame. There we go. All right, so kind of what's going on here is that like you've been overextending yourself yet again. Moderation is very important. The collective that I serve is essentially, and I'm never going to be one of the big readers because I have such a very targeted and specific collective. You're likely very empathic. You may have suffered some like kind of devastating emotional damage, usually from abusive relationships, sometimes from formative damage. You likely have a very strong manifesting gift, and you may in fact be a healer or developing your psychic eye. Perhaps all of those. So kind of combining all of those for the collective energy that I tend to attract. I probably am never going to have a great big following, and I'm really fine with that because we can form a community and support each other. And it is really like kind of having a family. So I'm happy with the group that I have. I'd always be happy to have more. So if you'd like to subscribe, please don't forget to do so. Here we go. Can I get some more cards on this predictive spread, please? What's going on? I think that's a freaking tower that's flipped in my face. There we go. Two more times. I'm going to put it down and cut. Okay. All right. All right. I have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Dear Lord, you're practically being Five of Pentacles in the upright, Seven of Pentacles in the upright, Four of Pentacles in reverse. I like that. The work you have been putting into healing will begin to kind of take away the sting of the past. Fortune and Fame is also trusting the process that you have been participating in to yield the results. That is the Tower. I have the Tower in the upright, Seven of Swords in reverse. Oh, that's a lot of divine intervention to bring truth. What we got? King of Cups in the upright. Two of Swords in reverse, the Lovers in the upright. I just want one more, please. One more. Two of Wands in the upright. That's being pulled in two directions. Sometimes it's the need to make a choice. Planning and action, Queen of Swords in reverse as well. That's a card for channeling. It can also be about trying to like hold back your truth until such time as you're meant to be sharing it. There is, once again, this energy of clarity around a situation in which, yet again, like something was, you were lied to on a matter of money. You could be awaiting like a settlement in a court situation. The Moon in the upright is something concealed in the past and confusion. Nine of Pentacles, like, again, I'm so sorry. I say this almost every week. It's because I think I have like almost every workaholic. This must be the only fun thing that you ever do. You're jumping like crazy. Is you need to have a balanced approach to life. And there's a good reason. I'm not just scolding you. We are meant to live in a state of balance. That means that appropriate times to rest, appropriate times to work really hard, and appropriate times to try and develop relationships, to have friends, to have potentially romantic interests. This Joy and Delight card, part of what can exacerbate depression, exacerbate anxiety, is kind of like pouring in way too much effort on something and then watching a situation to see, is it going to budge? Is it going to budge? Overextending yourself in any area can add to anxiety. And I was just explaining this to a client earlier today because I think I've had 3 readings already. What happens when we have an anxiety problem is we think that like working really hard and trying to control things will make things better. It will in fact make it worse. The control of a situation is only ever perception that we have. If you think that something has to happen within rigid guidelines or within a rigid date range, or if you think that you need to know everything, that's a control factor that if it doesn't work out the way that you think it's going to, and because there are too many variables in those situations for it to work out the way that you think it will, that can exacerbate anxiety. And particularly empaths are incredibly prone to anxiety. It is quite simply because we can feel things coming sometimes and are like, we're very forward thinking people, usually because we have slightly advanced and developed psychic gifts. So it's just something to be aware of. You will feel better if you release the need to control. You will feel better if you can try and inhabit patience. And you will feel better if you are making sure that you have recreational time, you have time for exercise, time to hang out with your friends, and time to read. And there are only ever so many hours in a day. So I get that that can be a tall order. And many people are kind of struggling simply to get by. So understand that if you have to work 2 jobs in order to pay all your bills, I'm not scolding you for the need to work. But what I am saying is please make sure that you're doing something in the time that you do have that is truly restorative. It can be meditation, it can be reading a good book, it can be playing a video game. Whatever gets you out of your worrying headspace is one of the things that you need to go towards. I have magical blessings and present power as well. And with the 7 of Cups in reversed, still more magic landing. I know I have people in my collective who are doing magic or who are capable of manifestation. There is something new coming to be with this Ace of Cups in the upright. The spiritual journey of the 8 of Cups, seeking more fulfillment in a better balanced state, is really going to help with achieving what you want to. You really trying to force a situation with more and more exertion, believe it or not, actually creates a blockage to manifestation. I have the King of Swords in reverse. This can be confusion around the situation, something that was held back, truth that wasn't told yet. With that 7 of Swords in reverse, we have clarity coming with the King of Cups in the upright and the Tower. The Tower is divine intervention. The King of Cups can stand in for divinity on one of my altars. Although I don't practice Christianity, I was raised in the Christian religion, and I still kind of resonate with many of the figures from it. All religion builds a narrative around existing powers. And so there simply isn't a wrong answer. There is simply your answer. And whatever you choose to name the powers that you interact with, or whatever belief system calls out to you, that is the right answer for you. the live life to the fullest and joy and delight, sincerely, if it try and schedule in fun. And that sounds a little bit, contradictory. It sounds like, how in the world can you schedule in joy and delight? By leaving the room, by leaving the space, by leaving the time. And kind of what I keep finding with my collective in particular is that because we're very prone to like anxiety and fear and like all of the things that come with having an enhanced feelings, is we try to overschedule ourselves, because downtime can mean time to ruminate. And that's why it's very important to try and have things to do. I just recently watched all of Star Trek Discovery because, believe it or not, I'm a big old geek and I love sci-fi. It really helped. It really helped. And when I wasn't able to concentrate well enough on that, I would watch little TikTok videos. Do something to divert your mind. It will bring down your energetic barriers and allow more to come to you. Nine of Swords in reverse is, again, that, the ways to allay your fears, the ways to kind of reset your energy. So how is this pertaining to the coming week? If you are able to find time, you have something coming to you in a personal relationship is the thing. This Two of Swords in reverse and then the Lovers in the upright, this can be about a choice being made, but there's a lot of energy around new and fulfilling things coming to you. You're not leaving enough space for them. So right around, if you like, Sunday and Monday are going to be ideal for this. Kind of breathe deep, take a pause, turn your phone onto airplane mode. If you just you can't, if you're at the center of a lot of people like reaching out to you, remember it's almost never like a matter of life and death. Turn your phone off, turn your devices off for 3 to 4 hours. Find that space to simply be still in. If we're able to find that place of stillness, that is when we are receptive to all of the things that we're trying to make happen. This is the Four of Cups energy as well. This is one of the better Four of Cups. The Four of Cups can be about discontent. This is clearly about when able to relax, this person receives the gift from the gods, which in fact the Ace of Cups is right above that. So the start of something new and fulfilling. If you are able in the coming week, and if you can't do it next week, make it a priority to do it in the coming weeks. Find time. Find time to chill. Something is trying to come to you. You do have magical blessings. Diligence is really about, if you need to approach this as a responsibility, please do. You have a responsibility to goof off sometimes. And I know I say this over and over again because apparently we all have trouble hearing it. I have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which is, again, kind of like shaking things off. It is like something needs to be like spun off the wheel when the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse like that. It can be the start of a new cycle, but it's in the hopes and fears area. So for me, that does mean it is okay to not take on every single task. I also apparently have the world's most responsible collective because we're not a bunch of shirkers and have a tendency to, Nine of Pentacles in reverse, deplete yourself as you try and accomplish absolutely everything. And we're punishing taskmasters to ourselves as well. Let yourself off the hook occasionally. You would do it for anybody else. Try to be as kind to you as you are to other people. Two of Pentacles in reverse because you're in a state of unbalance. Seven of Cups in reverse, keeping something from manifesting. With the Page of Pentacles in reverse, that is removing an energetic blockage. Now, the Page of Pentacles in the upright can also be spell work. Sometimes when things are in reverse, it's about something landing. This represents an energy blockage to me. Sometimes in reverse, it is clearing the path. Easing of financial circumstances, thanks to all the work that you've been putting in. I do know some people see the Seven of Pentacles as a largely like it's a card of disappointment, etc., etc. I don't. And most of the images on it don't back that up for me. This is about the fruits of your labor. And the labor part is often stressed here, where it feels like toil and continuing to work really hard. But with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, that is once again lowering your shields, allowing things in. You will increase and receive when you're not as frantic about things. And again, empaths are particularly prone to anxiety because we feel things so deeply. So whenever we can sense like, oh, this is going to be like, this is going to make me frightened, this is going to make me stressed out, we have a tendency to try really, really hard to figure out a solution. And sometimes we have to recognize I have tried as much as I can, and I need to just kind of like let it sit for a while. Maybe the answers will come to me. Please try falling asleep to guided meditations. Add a money mantra in there. If like there is, I think it's King Soon. King Soon. I think it's also available on YouTube. Had a money mantra that's really, really catchy. I've been listening to it while I was walking my dogs just because it does set your mind to receive. It's on TikTok and it's also on YouTube. It's King Soon is money mantra. Give it a listen. It can't possibly hurt. It is also fast paced enough that you will, like, anxious people don't meditate as easily as people who aren't. We have trouble finding a calm, still place within. It will help you with that because it's got more living energy behind it. So give that a try. There are also other money mantras out there. Once to Lakshmi. If there is an energy is quite simply not having enough and being very anxious around it, go towards the restorative methods of kind of bringing more to you. You should be able to start receiving again very soon. Open your heart to joy. It's such a challenging time. It really, really is. Practice moderation and live life to the fullest. Gosh, that message just couldn't be any clearer. In order to change the circumstances that you're in, community, you have to, and you don't have to do anything, but it would be helpful to find a way to scale back in an area that you've really been pushing it on. And that includes, like, if you're waiting for a relationship to come to you, which there's some energy around that as well. Distract yourself, do something else. Remember, if it's real, if it's true, you can't mess up something that's truly meant for you. It might be delayed, but if it's really meant for you, it is headed towards you. And over angel of love, boy, I couldn't have like conjured that more effectively. Fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. So the thing about Gabriel is Gabriel tells the truth. Gabriel is in charge of epiphanies, truths, revelations, being raised up from the darkness so that you can see the light, and it is about finding your purpose. It also happens to be the energy that I channel. Some channelers are in touch with Raphael, some are in charge with, well, most are in touch with Raphael. That's about like love and healing. And I didn't get the warmest, fuzziest one. I got the one that's, kind of gets straight to the point and is a little bit bossy, I guess. I don't think of bossy being a bad word, but like Gabriel, which is what I channel, will like cut straight to the bone and try and find the truth of the matter. So this is parties, this is gatherings, this is having fun. The angel of love and the fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. That is your throat chakra. To receive the things that will make you feel as if you're abundant and living in an abundant energy, to find the love that you want. One of the things you're being asked to do in this week is to start figuring out the ways to scale back so that you can reset your energy to a receptive one. Let's see if we have anything from. And then I'm going to take one more look because there's two pieces of news here that seem to be trying to get through. It's not all just about, scolding people about their and scolding. I really don't mean it that way. It's not all about advising people to try and encouragement. That's about never being alone. Storm fields, that's also the tower energy. You are not alone. There is a change coming in a set of circumstances that has been distressing to you. And then before I do the romance angels, I want to check on this because I have two practical matters here. Okay. There are some plans to be made next week around Wednesday involving basically something that you need to reveal. Something that is important in a situation that it will bring justice and kind of equity back to a situation. You're in possession of a piece of information or several pieces of information, and it is time to like kind of start stepping up to that plate. You are participating in some clarity that will ease a burden around you and around somebody that you really care about. This is going to make a lot more sense to you, but like you're going to have to kind of, there's a really old saying, gird your loins, which is, basically like, put on your armor and head into battle type of thing. You have something coming up where you are going to need to be the strongest version of yourself. I think it is partially the reason that you're being advised to, oh, please, please, please take a rest. Sunday and Monday are ideal to try and just like, don't do stuff, try and relax. And it is because midweek you're being called upon to live in your strongest energy to bring about a change that will begin to transform a situation that has been causing you no small amount of distress. And this victim mentality card is not simply about like, poor me. Like legitimately, sometimes it's about having been unfairly victimized, being the victim of somebody. There's work that goes in on that next week that will rectify the situation. You're going to need to find your personal strength in order to do it. What else have I got here? Okay. This is interesting. I'm kind of hesitant to say this. All right, I'm going to say it anyway. There is apparently a job offer for some of our job seekers on Monday. Try and like push the answer to Wednesday or Thursday. There's another piece of information coming that will likely give you greater clarity on what your answer needs to be. You have options coming to you and choices to be made. There is more than one choice available to you. The thing is that there's something on Monday where like you're going to be asked to give a yes or a no. Ask for a couple of days, and it's not because you won't necessarily make that decision, take the job that's being offered, and it could be a contract job, but it's that you will do so knowing that it was an active choice rather than an act of desperation. There are two things to weigh out. Again, it's Wednesday or Thursday that becomes a possibility. Apparently midweek next week is going to have some happening things. A happy week overall, but with some challenges, particularly to you do. Please, there's something I teach my clients, particularly if they're in, because I do a lot of work to try and help people overcome abusive situations. And I tell them whenever they're frightened, whenever they feel overwhelmed, to call to the guardians who guard the four corners. And it goes, I call to the guardians who guard the four corners to aid me and to protect me in this and all that I do. And I have to say that 3 times. And the guardians of the four corners are the guardians of the elements that make up this reality. It is one of the ways to call protective forces to you. You have a situation where like speaking your truth is going to be a challenge. It's really necessary to continue and to complete and to leave behind this feeling of like somebody did something like borderline terrible to you, and it might not have been borderline. In order to free yourself from that energy, you're going to have to speak your truth a little bit. And it's not your first choice. Engagement, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. There's not a lot of relationship energy on this, but I kind of do this by rote. You're going to need that personal energy replenishment. So please, please take it seriously. Sunday or Monday, like set aside that time, turn off your phone, just hang out with like whatever it is. And you don't have to be alone. You don't have to be alone, but you do need to be replenishing your personal energy because you're going to need it to find some closure around the situation that has defined a lot of your life in the recent memory. And that is midweek. And will you be okay if you don't? Yeah, but it'll be about like 10 times harder than it needs to be. It is a victorious energy around that. Please keep it in mind and don't worry. I have forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. I'm going to leave it at that. What I'm talking about in the middle of the week is about releasing and healing the past. It presents a particular challenge. That's why I have both the Queen and the King of Swords in reverse. It's not going to be the easiest thing for you, but you're going to be able to do it. And afterwards you will be free. And hopefully I won't have to talk about this any longer. Okay, pile number 1, that was your reading for next week. No money concerns for those of us who are like, trying to bring it in. The only thing had to do with releasing some past energy that you have been trying to kind of conquer for a while. Looks like you'll be very successful, but that it will take much less out of you if you are well rested. So please consider being appropriately rested. Okay, if you'd like to book me for a private reading, remember my website is linked in the comments down below. I'd love a chance to read for you in real life. Please don't forget to subscribe. It really does help my channel. We're moving on to pile 2. Let's see. This particular pile, I'm going to make sure I've got the candle lit true. So what happens with like my active magic, candle magic videos and these is like on my active magic, candle magic, that's magical energy you can use. It's because I've actually conjured it, but I didn't give it a target. I didn't give it a direction. Sometimes I'll post pictures of the spells that I've put up, and those are like, that's kind of a closed deal because it does have a petition, it does have a target, it does have a command. On the active magic, candle magic videos, it doesn't. So that means I've drawn all the energy in, and energy is not like physically just present in one place. It's part of the reason that I can read via Zoom. Its energy is, it doesn't respect or adhere to the rules of geographic or physical space. So any of those active magic ones, like feel free to go and use that. And it does give you a boost in the direction that you need to. Part of the reason that I just said that is communication. I've got one for communication there as well. Pile number 2, your candle is anointed. All of our candles are the color of the crown chakra with communication. Pile number 2, my high-tech solution to nobody being able to figure out what pile I was on. Modern day spellcasters is bringing us the predictive spread, but let's get started with your oracle cards. Appreciate your talents. Please do not undersell that which what you can do simply because you can do it. I encounter this all the time. People who can do these remarkable things and they undersell it because they're the person doing it, therefore it can't be all that special in their own mind. Remember, you have talents, you have gifts, and it is not vain, it is not narcissistic to understand that you have a particular gift. Humility looks good on everybody, but we're not talking about being boastful. We're talking about being honest about the attributes that you possess that others may not. And what is kind of a present power and a talent can be used to help many people as well. Recognizing your gifts can also recognize the role that you have to play in this greater collective energy. I have faced your adversities yet again. Lord, that card it's a stalker is what it is. Transformation. Boy, I haven't seen you in a while. This fairy tells you to surrender to a transformation in your life that's happening for your highest good. Embrace your transformation. The best is yet to come. Okay, finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. Look for a sign from the angel answers. Potential, somebody is activating. Peace and a consciousness of lack. Wow, first pile got like its sister card, which is victim mentality. This is essentially the 5 of Cups. The victim mentality is essentially the 5 of Pentacles. A consciousness of lack and peace. Let's find out where this is going. Finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. You're going to be back in touch with your guides after a resounding silence. How awesome is that? Potential and peace. Well, how's this coming? How's this coming? Communication. Oh. Why didn't I even get that part? Okay, so some of you have been kind of blocked on hearing from your spirit guides, tapping into source, hearing from your own team. You felt really blocked on your ability to discern. And again, my collective is a bunch of psychic empaths. And so usually you felt pretty guided, but 2020 has been a butt kicker. And half of the people who are normally pretty tapped in feel like they've had blinders on. That's changing. And if it's not next week, and I kind of feel like it really is next week, understand like the blinders are coming off. You've been doing some work to find energetic balance again. The Nine of Swords in reverse, which is the Lovers in the upright. That could be, Two of Cups in reverse. I have the Four of Wands in reverse, the Tower in reverse. I have the Queen of Swords in the upright. Clarity, truth. Page of Pentacles in the upright, Eight of Pentacles in reverse. This is fun. Are you going to be my twin flame group? Knight of Swords in the upright, Queen of Wands in reverse. What's going on there? Can I get the rest of that, please? I'm going to stop talking until I get some more information. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay. All right. Ace of Swords in the upright, Empress in the upright, Six of Swords in the upright, Nine of Cups in the upright, the Sun in the upright. I feel like that should come with a heavenly choir. So that is wish fulfillment and the start of something entirely new and positive. And in fact, for some people, if you've been trying to conceive, that can be conception. That's here as well. I do think this is my twin flame and separation group, which is funny because I don't think of it, communication, Eight of Wands in reverse. I have a bunch of twin flames who have been in separation for a while and have been held in separation with this giant energy block keeping them from one another. And it's gotten very frustrating because we've gotten multiple date ranges of it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And unfortunately, what keeps happening is people keep falling back into kind of residual energies of sometimes codependency, need-based love, that kind of thing, and trying to force an issue, which control factors, having a controlling nature is also part of codependency. The World in the upright, the Queen of Pentacles in the upright. I would like one more. And so it's been a little bit blocked. The blockage is now gone. As I said a couple of weeks ago, like somebody's spirit guide team decided okay, we give. Three of Pentacles in the upright, Devil in reverse. And the whole crying uncle thing was, there is this energy of, face your adversities as well. There has been this energy of constant advice to surrender. And here's the thing, I have multiple groups that they have sort of the same backstory. And so there are many people here who have had kind of heinous things happen in their lives. And the way you lived, the way you survived, the way you warriored through is you do not surrender. It is the very reason that you're still alive. And your spirit guides have never been trying to tell you that you need to surrender your free will. They've been asking you to please relax and trust the divine. They now apparently have really they understand that what they're asking is essentially a form of mental gymnastics that they can't ask a living being to do, which is to find the ability to surrender to a divine force when you have been your animating force. And the only reason that things have turned out well has been that you have never given up on that. All they were ever asking for was trust. And because they kept delaying things, they understand that they have messed that up a little bit. And they are asking you to simply kind of chill, relax. They're done. They're done. No more energy blockages trying to teach you a lesson. They understand that the lesson was nigh on impossible to learn, because it was like asking you to take out your SIM card or something. You weren't ever going to still be able to be the same person and do what they were asking. And after a while, what it started to sound to you was they were you needed to not be any longer. You weren't allowed to be you any longer in order to continue on your journey. It caused you incredible amounts of grief at the thought that everything that you'd ever treasured was no longer important, and you weren't going to be allowed to have the things that you wanted. And it felt like punishment, because in the way you were receiving the information, it was very punishing. And again, it's not like this is an infallible power. It's not. Look around at the world, look around at some of the things that occur. We can be guided. We can never be forced. And that's where things get a little bit funky, is that sometimes the guidance that is provided to us, we can't understand it because it has to go through our human experience filter. And it's coming from beings that, even if they were once human, they haven't been in long enough that they forget. They don't have that frame of reference for the 3D, and that causes problems. So the whole concept of trust and surrender, they understand that, like, they're horrified at the thought, but they have been hurting you. They've been hurting you with blockage after blockage, hoping that you would, like, reassess and understand the lesson that they were trying to teach. And instead, you've just, like, it is like you're dying. It is like you've been transformed into a form of yourself that you have been just terribly, terribly upset because it doesn't feel like you get to be you any longer. They're, like I said, they're throwing in the white flag of surrender, because they understand that that is not what they ever wanted. You're beloved by your team for, and you can be an impossible person, but that is what has helped you. Like this stubborn, gutted out type of energy. They would never ever ask you to not be that person. All they were asking for was like a way to find peace within. If you're able to surrender, that is peace. It is not defeat. And they understand that, like all they've done right now is make you so unhappy you can barely function. And they're very proud of you because you just kept soldiering on, and now they had to learn something from you, which they're still capable of learning. We're here, like I said the other week, this is basically a big old university. Guess what? They're not infallible either. They have learned that sometimes, like the attempt to drive home a lesson, all they will do is alter the subject so much that the lesson loses all meaning. And they understand that they pushed too hard on something and not conveying it properly. They wanted you to find peace, and it's not possible because of your inherent and essential nature. Who you are is important. And as they have watched that start to fade because you're giving up, you're not surrendering, you're giving up hope about multiple things in your life. And they understand that they made a mistake. They will be correcting it as soon as possible. That's what the Tower in Reverse is about. That is starting again. Clarity and truth. This is a channeling. It's also spirit of air. It can be an angel as well. Progress being made. A fresh start with the Page of Pentacles. And again, surrender with the Eight of Pentacles. They're not asking you to do this work any longer. They understand that, like, whatever their true intention is, it doesn't matter. This has gone on long enough that, like, your life is, like, it's lacking in what you need it to have. And that they're accidentally altering this person that they care so very much about, just trying to help you evolve. And when we come here and we make this agreement about what we will learn, and you have been very diligent about trying to learn things, but they have been kind of extinguishing your light, and they're going to be trying to light it once more. This is that Queen of Wands in reverse, and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse as well. Even spirit guides can say, okay, we've nudged, we can't steer. You can't force someone to do something. And so that's part of what happens in our lives, and why sometimes it feels like we fall straight off a cliff, is that our spirit guide team can suggest and be like, no, do this, do that. And we will quite sometimes mulishly go on through, cause our own problems, and create our own disasters. This has not been what's been going on this year. Like, you've been diligently trying, and there have been multiple things, including a relationship, likely with a twin flame, that they have been holding off and holding back from you. And it's because they wanted you to understand how much peace there is in surrendering and trusting. They've caused so much pain with that you don't have faith and you don't trust any longer. And again, they are just, white towels are flying all over the place, because they're ready to say, you did it. You beat the divine in terms of just out stubborning their ability to watch you, like, because they're diminishing you, and they understand that. So does that mean that you don't, like, make the progress and evolve? Not necessarily. What it can mean is that sometimes evolution, they're here to learn things too. And they've learned that there is more to evolution than this like rigid adherence to surrender, be peaceful, be at one with the universe, tap in. They understand that an animating force is the only reason that you have overcome so many adversities. So spirit guide communications with the Ace of Swords in the upright and the Empress as well. There will be a communication apparently having to do with love sometime in the next 2 weeks. It is likely from a twin flame. It could be one that you have, like, for some people, you have you're partnered up, and like if you are, this part of the message is not for you. You have a communication coming to you. It will restore a feeling of kind of balance within the world. Work has gone into kind of evolving your idea of who you are, what your place in this world is as well. And they're basically saying you can go ahead and graduate. 9 of Cups in the upright, Sun in the upright. You're getting your wish. There is a brand new and bright start coming to you. 2021 will be a much different year according to this. Do we have anything that is hyper specific to this week? No. No, we kind of don't. There's very few details because of a manifesting energy. Well, that's ironic. For the coming week, continue to do what you're doing, and just try to trust again. Understanding that they have redefined what they're talking about when they say trust. For whatever reason, like wires got crossed and trust began to be like, hey, we've taken everything away from you and now you're miserable and you need to trust that it's for your own good. And they never meant it that way. They never meant it that way. And they have a form of feeling, they do, but they forget how acute pain can be. And like you have just been suffering too long. And they get that part. That the only way for you to like kind of continue on is to be a little bit deadened to the pain. And from your perspective, what caused the pain was trusting. And they did learn a valuable lesson about how far they should be pushing people. They understood your strength, and they understand maybe they pushed a little bit too hard. And there's multiple things coming to you, like particularly in the next 3 weeks, but look to receive. There will be communication in multiple areas about something that you're wondering why it won't make any progress. And you feel door to spirit, the temple path, they're trying to heal you. Contract, happy family. Like I said, there's communication coming, both in the spirit realm, finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source, and peace. Please, some of you have like, you're so angry at the state of affairs that like you're losing faith in the worth of this. Not like necessarily my readings, although like maybe that too, but in the worth of continuing to continue on with a spiritual path when like it doesn't change, nothing budges. It feels like no progress is made. And they're asking you one more time. Listen to spirit guide meditations. Try to meditate. They are trying to communicate with you. And it in this case, it's not that they're trying to develop a message. They're trying to reopen communication. Like they do understand that like that people can be hurt so much that we kind of stop functioning. Field of Dreams, boy, with the 9 of Cups, that's some serious wish fulfillment. You're headed into a beautiful receiving energy. Part of it really is a little bit of a Cracker Jack prize energy around, listen, we're sorry. Like the kind of thing where they weren't trying to push you so hard that you broke. They were never trying to push you. They were trying to get you to learn how to relax. And they just understand that it was not quite the right approach for you, because like that's not why you're still alive. And here's something to understand about like people who have natural healing abilities and can channel sometimes angelic entities, is quite frequently it will almost be as if something has been trying to take them out their whole life, because we do all have an opposite energy with us. And sometimes it inhabits us and sometimes it dwells near us. And so kind of the more like potent the healing and energy of love that you have, the more potent the energy of the opposite of that is. And it can quite frequently take a kind of an almost menacing form. Like, so you'll meet people and they've had these incredible adversities and disasters, and they've overcome with great luck because they both have angelic entities, and then they have darker forces trying to kind of like their balance is very hard to achieve. Balance can be very hard to achieve. So anyway, your spirit guide team is just saying past life relationship. It's a twin flame one. Twin flames don't just suddenly occur, and they usually have been following each other lifetime after lifetime. And do people always end up with their twin flame? No. And not all twin flame relationships are romantic. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I didn't want that to be the focus of my life this time. Like, it's a funny thought, but like in days of yore, it was not like we didn't attach as much importance to falling in love, because it was, when you're limited in the number of people that you're going to meet, it was not a given. Like, so like mass transportation, mass media, that has all it like kind of, in movies and a bunch of other things that put forth these images of what we're supposed to want, have changed our idea of what a happy life really will be constituted by. So some people really come here not with the expectation of I will have a great love, but rather I will have a great experience. Love yourself first and then honeymoon. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Interestingly enough, that issue of like having enough self-respect, balking at surrendering. Eventually, it finally occurred to your spirit guide team that when you were balking at surrendering, that is self-respect. That you had respect for the journey that had been so difficult for you, and that you would not simply surrender control. They are asking you to strike a better balance. And like, again, I think they're just hoping they didn't like alienate you forever. And I don't think they did. And I think that that's going to be like a largely resolved issue by somewhere around New Year's, where you will have received enough that your faith will have been restored. But it has been sorely tested. It genuinely has been sorely tested. Okay, I am moving on to pile number 3. Pile number 2, that wasn't a lot of specific stuff for next week. It was all about kind of a spiritual journey. And it makes sense with the conjure oil I chose, which was communication. And boy, did your spirit guides have a lot to say to you on that particular matter. Let's move on to pile number 3. This is a good one. Get a job. This is from Three Crows Conjure. I'm not affiliated with them, loving their products. Ever so slightly more expensive, but it's turning out to be like kind of worth it. This I think is like $14.95. And I personally find all of their conjure oils to be very, very good. And then also they're super, super nice people. So if you're looking at getting into this at all, know that it is better to pay that little bit more and to have products that are imbued with the right sort of energy. I have a very compatible energy with the people from Three Crows. And since the type of magic I do is very, very specific towards like not harming anybody, this works. Their stuff just works really well for me. All right, so all of the colors are of the crown chakra, which is to allow the divine in. And let's see what Get a Job has to say, pile number 3. By the way, pile number 2, people, don't forget, if you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. I will edit in timestamps after we're done here. Set your intentions. Raise your vibration. Life energy. The happy fairy of sunshine brings lots of life-giving energy. She reminds you to shine your light and to reveal anything in the shadows that needs to be healed. Raise your vibration. Gosh, that is fighting off that demon of depression. I have compromise. Interesting. Compromise. Grounding. Go deep, explore your roots. Okay. Thriving. One of these, I hardly ever use these in readings, and gosh, the artwork on them is beautiful. I think it's the soul's destiny. I have professional assistance and decrease. Let me put that in the other direction. Decrease and professional assistance. Compromise could be about a salary expectation. Grounding is always going to be like working on your root chakra. That is my shuffle by kind of a lot. This is the Dreaming Way Tarot. Grounding is when you're trying to attach yourself firmly to here in the 3D, to trying to like kind of even out your energy. When we talk about raising your vibration, we live best in a balanced energy. And grounding helps allay fears, helps take out anxiety. It also helps maintain your security. So if you are job seeking, one of the best things to do is engage in some grounding practices. Some of that can be gardening, not the best time of year to garden for some people. Like get out and walk on the actual earth whenever you can. Understand that like if you can't garden, you know, digging around a potted plant is also the same thing. Interacting with anything that constitutes nature is a grounding activity. You can also simply align your chakras and imagine roots coming out of the bottom of your feet and winding all the way down into the core of the earth. And that is also a grounding activity. There are grounding sound bowls. There are grounding meditations. There are please ground. Please ground, and it will help balance out your life energy. Professional assistance, huh? With decrease, raise your vibration. That is also, that's about engaging with cognitive behavioral therapy techniques to try and manage your moods. What is this? Get a job, thriving. I like that for you. Okay, I have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Set your intentions as well. Good weeks for we have so much manifesting energy. Hey, there's a conjunction of planets on December 21st that is going to have a high yield for people who have been kind of trying to do the right thing. So keep that in mind. Get yourself as energetically spruced up as you can headed into December 21st, and you will likely get very good returns on what you've been trying to manifest. Six of Pentacles in the upright is balance. Ace of Wands in reverse. Two of Pentacles in reverse, that's being out of balance in the past. King of Wands in reverse. Interesting. Why are you feeling thwarted? Let's see. Well, probably because it's been a tough time. It's been a tough time economically. This is the get a job pile this time. Three of Pentacles in reverse. And by the way, if you chose it and you're like, oh, well, I have a job, maybe another pile is for you this, or it's possible that there isn't a message for you this week. That doesn't usually happen. I have a pretty small collective. I have the Fool in reverse. I have the Page of Cups in reverse. I have the Moon in reverse. We're taking you guys. All right. I have the Five of Wands in the upright with the Empress in reverse. King of Pentacles in the upright. Four of Swords in reverse. I do like that. At least we're making some progress here as we push through the end of the week. 10 of Swords in the upright. Page of Wands in the upright. Knight of Swords in reverse. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Eight of Cups in the upright. The Hanged Man in the upright. The Lovers in the upright. Wow. 3 piles in a row. The Strength card in the upright. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Six of Wands in reverse. I would like one more. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. All right, job seekers, good news and maybe more good news. So the compromise card is there is a position that will be offered to you. You had been hoping to work remotely. You've been hoping to work remotely, and like the job is not remote, and you're like kind of dreading the whole concept of going back into an office. There is, don't, like, this is a good job. It is coming to you. The reach out for it may have already occurred, but for other people, it's going to be sometime around Tuesday. It doesn't fit all of the criteria that you want because you really had become like very attached to the idea of not commuting, of not going into an office. Or release that as an expectation, simply because there's a very good there's a very good energy for advancement around it if you're willing to compromise and make a slightly different choice on that. That is part of that. I have multiple things going on here. I've had people who like even looking for like, gosh, since all, I think you might have started looking for a job like at the beginning of last year, and COVID absolutely derailed your entire life. It has been a really tough time for you. You have been like, you have been pinching pennies till they squealed. Understand there is a change coming to you very shortly. The first job that you're offered, like it has a lower, that's that decrease energy, a lower salary range than you had wanted. And it's not by much, but it's enough that it's like, it's a bit of a sting. Remember, this is meant for confirmation, not determination. So don't let me make your choices for you. But if this resonates, please listen. Talk to them about what the potential is for like advancement and what the 2 to 3 year trajectory on this particular position is envisioned as being. It does appear that there is a good increasing energy that will be available to you like within a year. But they do require that people have a year's experience within the company before you can be considered for a position that is, it's a little bit better than the one that you wanted. So the decision you're being asked to take and the compromise that you're being asked to undertake is to consider, and you've been scaling back for a while. So like the salary range that you want, like it will feel like a lot more opulent than you're thinking. Understand that there is such good energy around increase if you're willing to put in the time there, and it looks really secure. So consider that carefully. Here's the thing. I think you almost don't need me to be saying this to you, because like right now you would like, you know, hey, you want me to be a fishmonger? Sounds good to me. Good God, I need a job. Don't approach it with like, oh Lord, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. Approach it with, I can make this into the thing I want it to be. Go deep, explore your roots and life energy. I have so much going on with this group. So that's another scenario, and I'm moving on to the next one. And that is, I know I'm not talking, just one second. It looks to me like there was like somebody had just undertaken the beginning of something. You'd taken action on like kind of a dream position, potentially like your own company trying to make something happen, and then 2020. Understand that there is a phoenix from the ashes type of energy that is coming in. Like you didn't close down that concern, but you've had to move on to something else. And you backburnered it to the extent that you're like, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Please find the time to put some energy into it. There's more coming. And you're going to be like the only group that I think I will ever say this to is you need to attach more time to your side gig for a little bit. It has the potential to thrive. And it didn't. Like you went in gangbusters. Woo, here we go, we can conquer. And then the world, it was like everything that had a great big flat tire in terms of progress. You're not wrong, but keep in mind, like things are shifting, things are changing. Start now and you will see good returns past the first of the year. And it will be kind of working without a lot of gain to begin with. But the Page of Wands in the upright is about taking action to have a new beginning with this concern that like it was very disappointing to you, and I'm sorry. What else have I got here? Three of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. I'm sorry, I know I'm not talking. It's because I want to try and strength, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Six of Wands in reverse. Okay. I have still more, like somebody who does have a job that is kind of, and there's going to be more than one person, is been proving financially lucrative but energetically draining. You have not been willing to back off because you're afraid, like with each like turn of the, like every day that passes, you're afraid that if I do not pour in absolutely everything that I can right now, like this could go away. You're hyper vigilant about what could go wrong. You're not wrong to be. You're not wrong to be. Understand though that like 100% you're blocking out a new development because of how much energy you're pouring, and you're succeeding. You're actually succeeding really well. You've got an increase. This Three of Pentacles in reverse, like this is another person who might have started their own business or went out on their own, opened up their own shop in something that they know how to do. You're not accurately assessing your progress. You're holding yourself to like a very, very, very high standard to like deem it success. All that you're being reminded of is, you know what, if you asked anybody else to examine your life in the details, they would be astounded by how successful you are. Please, please, please. What is contributing to your depression is the fact that you've made your life constantly about, I must survive, I must survive, I must survive, I must survive. I will work until I drop. I am making decent money, but like, I got to bank it. I got to bank it. Who knows what's around the next corner? And they're reminding you thriving is like the bulk of like a worthwhile life. Surviving is all well and good. It genuinely is. But we can't truly predict the future. Slightly ironic thing for a tarot card player to say. We don't really know what's around the next corner. This gives us guideposts. It gives us hints. It gives us clues. But there are very few tarot card readers who predicted that there was going to be a pandemic that shut down the world. I don't know anyone who did. Now, it turned out like it was in my cards. I just wasn't interpreting it correctly. It turned out the Three of Swords was standing in for Corona, the Ten of Pentacles was standing in for lockdown, and the Tower had to do with, well, like a bunch of things changing. I was not interpreting those in the way that like they meant lockdown, Corona, and then, kind of the pandemic hitting and like knocking the world off of its wheels, essentially. So understand that even if you are seeking out foreknowledge, we will never get the full picture. It is so much better to enjoy your life and risk not making that extra $50, that extra $100, the extra that you like keep thinking will keep you safe. First of all, you're actually like, there's a reason you've been succeeding when other people have been struggling. You have a role. You have a role. You have a divine purpose. You have a divine team. That is not to say that you're like the streets are paved with gold for you. You genuinely do need to make effort to be successful, but you're going to be. And you don't trust that despite the evidence that like it's true. And it's partially because like over the summer, there was a lot of, you were trusting it, and then something happened in the summer. Understand that like there is a reason that there was that great big downturn and you got really, really frantic. And you'll understand it at a different point. Third chakra, Archangel Chamuel. It has been much better. It has been much better as you move through the fall. Think back. There is an event. There was a reason, and you can spot it if you think back. It's going to be about a month and a half ago. There was a reason. There was a reason. You have since cleared that reason. They just want you to know that, the energetic universe has your back. Fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. Truth teller. Also communication, spirit of air, the advanced spirit of communication, which is what I channel. The woman holding a heart. Power, communication, love. What else we got here? Can I get one more, please? The sun. Okay, well, I'm gonna like heed something that just popped into my head, which is that for whatever reason, I have not like picked up spooky in like a week and a half. And like, it's not like I'm mad at them or something, but spooky is a divine message deck, and I get like channeled messages through it. It doesn't read for people any longer. And I haven't been using him very much. And I do use the pronoun he with it simply because I do channel the advanced spirit of communication, which I refer to as the Archangel Gabriel, because it's how I related to it always. And it's just a little bit easier to call something by name. One day when I was using this deck, it quite simply quit reading and started spitting out messages that were basically that particular energy trying to get around, like trying to communicate as directly as possible. So what does Spooky have to say here? Because there's something about how like you can't trust that there will be continued success because there was a lag when you weren't expecting one. And you're like, you won't accept, even though you know already that there was a really good reason for it. You're not trusting that like there isn't another lag around the corner, and you're borderline killing yourself with effort. And they're trying to say, listen, you can trust us. Please, look, there was a reason. And your problem is, of course, it's like, well, I don't know when the next reason is. What your spirit guides are trying to ask you to trust is that, but you got through that okay, right? Like, please understand, you really are a very protected person, and you have a very hard time accepting that. You have a very, very hard time accepting that. And it's because something very painful happened to you and you don't feel very protected any longer. There we go. Can I get, you gonna just peace out on saying anything? You gonna say anything? Nope, nope, nope. Okay, 2 more times, I'm gonna put you down. Ignore you again for a week. All right, 1 more time. It's your last chance, dude. All right, fine. 6 of Swords in reverse. That is a returning energy. What else do you have to say? Okay. Well, thank you for the continued scold. I'll tell you what this means, but what it means is what I just got done saying. So, all right, hold on. Can I get more, please? Can I get more, please? Just 1 more. Dude, don't leave it there. You gonna leave it there? Don't leave it there. I have a very irreverent relationship with my spirit guides. I'll hear like people talk so very lovingly of my guides, my guardians, and I'm like, we argue all the time. Here we go. Can I get 1 more, please? Or you can just say no. 1 more time. All right. All right. So the message here is essentially you keep returning to overwork to solve a financial problem. It is just your doubt that is convincing you that that is the case. You're actually exceptionally powerful. Pardon me, I have to decline a call. You are utilizing almost all of your life energy to bring something about that is essentially guaranteed. Please, 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 please understand that you are like they want to bring you more and you're not leaving any room in your life for anything any longer. Like you're so, and you're not a greedy person at all. Like you're actually really very generous and kind and like prone to like helping others at like a level that can like kind of take away from you almost too much. I should probably get romance angels as well. But like you're frantic to try and be secure. And like they're trying to tell you that like something is trying to come to you to make you much, much happier. And you won't stop working. Like you won't stop working. You're the person who never skips flossing type of responsible. I am as well, by the way. You need to make room for something that is gonna like alleviate this. You feel like a drudge or a drone. Like you're very, it's very hard on you, and it's hard for them to see you like that. And they're just asking you to please, you're not taking enough time off. And it's because you want to secure your future so much. Flirt, worth waiting for. Divine timing is worth in work in your love life. Well, of course it is. And so divine timing that does not mean just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. It means that conditions have to be right. You're working too much. You're working too much. Also, the flirt thing, extend your light-hearted energy to others. You don't have to flirt with anybody if you don't want to. Like sincerely. Like sincerely, you don't need to like be all like playful, and you don't. But you do need to have fun. That's extend your light-hearted energy to others. It does not have to be romantic flirting, but what you are being asked to consider is that you're part of the reason your life is not a lot of fun is you don't leave a lot of room for it. Like you do like responsible things even as you're socializing. Like you genuinely don't just sit the heck down, and you've always got something that is in the background that is a responsibility that you're seeing to somehow. And you're not being urged to be irresponsible, but what you are being told is that if you want more in your life, you got to make room for more in your life, and you're not doing it. And your security is guaranteed. You are going to be like a very successful person. There was a reason for that. And if you will stop and think about the lag that you had, you will spot it and you will know it. So, not to finger shake, but I'm moving on to pile number 4. Pile number 3, apparently, if you don't relax, like, the divine is going to, I don't know what the divine will do, but it would really like you to relax. I'm moving on to pile number 4. If you'd like to book me for a private reading, my website is linked to in the description box down below. I'd love a chance to read for you in real life. And please don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. It helps the channel. All right. Pile number 4, you have a Manso Guapo. And this is for returning lovers, luck, money, and a reversal of bad finances. This one is from Conjured Cardia, another company that I really, really, really like. Very good products. Kind of like, I think Conjured Cardia is great. It works a little bit better for people who are already like a little bit familiar with practices is all. It doesn't have a lot of information on how to use things. If you notice, like, I have a hand lettered label on this. Otherwise, it would just be called a Manso Guapo, which, unless you know what it is, then you're not going to know what it does. And that's the type of thing that I'm talking about. You have to put in just a little bit. And is it worth it? Yes, she has very good products. She has really, really good products. But it's not necessarily for somebody who is not kind of already familiar with what the products need to do, what they can do. There's like, you need a good, strong knowledge base, and that's appropriate. Like, that's powerful stuff. She's a very powerful person. Forgive yourself is one of your notes from the universe. Forgive and forget. All right. Inner child. The fairies of playfulness remind you to make time to embrace your inner child. Playing keeps us young at heart. Do something silly and fun, but stay safe. I am the broken record of, for the love of God, do something fun already, would you? Get more information. Shout to the heavens with happiness, embracing enthusiasm. Okay. Power. I get it. Hidden motivations and dark thoughts. Let's find out what's happening here. That's one of the motivations and dark thoughts. All right, so I don't know what's going on, but every single group has been told, please do something fun. Please do something silly. Please, like find a way, because you're actually, like, my collective is made up of very powerful empaths who are psychics. Some of us are healers. Some of us are tarot card readers. Some of us aren't. But there are people in this group who you have a role to play. There are light workers, and then there are light warriors. And there are healers, and then there are shamans. And, like, sincerely, you've got stuff you need to be doing with all the power that you have, but you're not living in a balanced energy. And you're like, kind of, everybody's getting like a blast of a whistle on back off of the effort in order to have a little bit of fun. And is it really hard in 2020 to figure out how to do that? Yes. And it's part of the reason that you kind of just have been throwing yourself into responsibilities, is that life has contained far too little. Can I start getting some cards here? This is the Animal Totem card deck, and I'm going to be using it for the predictive spread. Tower in reverse. It's been all over the place too. The Tower in reverse is managed change. It can also be rock bottom energy, strength card. The Lovers. 5 of Swords in the upright. Okay, hidden motivations and dark thoughts is concerning me ever so slightly, but let's get going here. Manso Guapo. Okay. The Empress in the upright. Love and life. You're not okay. And group number 4, if I'm sounding a little weary, it's because like, oh my goodness, every group, 4 wands in the upright, the Fool in the upright, 10 of Cups in reverse, the Chariot in reverse, Page of Wands in the upright, 9 of Swords in the upright, 6 of Pentacles in the upright. I'm going to have very specific advice on how to have some fun, because every single group has been kind of chided from beyond that. Listen, it's great to make effort. Thank you for not being a shirker. You are part of like an important, you have a role. You have a role to play. I have the Magician in reverse with the Hermit in reverse. But the problem is that if anything, since 2020, like it just took and took and took and took and took. I have the 7 of Cups in the upright, 6 of Cups in reverse, the Knight of Pentacles in the upright, 7 of Pentacles in the upright, 8 of Pentacles in the upright. God, that exact same combination happened before. 7 of Swords in the upright, 2 of Pentacles in the upright, 10 of Swords in the upright. Oh, thank goodness. The Wheel of Fortune in the upright. So group number 4, here's the thing. You are the 4th group to be told that you are like you're struggling with depression, and that you need to kind of find a way to do something fun. So like, what is that going to entail? Please watch something on TV. Please find something, even if it's like, I need to go like marathon something that I once enjoyed. If it's watching documentaries, watch documentaries. If you have a love of travel and you're about ready to go insane because 2020, like sincerely go on YouTube and you can take a travel log anywhere in the world here. You just type in what you want to see, scenes of Norway, sites in Sweden, like wherever it is that you would like to be. There's going to be footage of that area. Is it the same thing? No, but your brain needs it. The things that used to help you, you're not giving your brain the things that used to help you. And it is really causing you a lot of difficulties. Hidden motivations and dark thoughts with power. You have so much personal power. And this forgive and forget and forgive yourself. I don't know if you made a mistake in a relationship or what it was, but you're being asked to embrace the concept that you will love life again. And you don't believe me, like not even a little. You think that whatever like joy was present in your life once was all kind of a deception and everything fell apart. And you're willing, like you're such a diligent person that you're willing to just kind of continue to trudge through, but you don't need to. All you're being asked to do is to create some fun somehow. And if that is dancing around to music, please do that. If you haven't been able to work out, YouTube, once again, what a friend. Fitness Blender is an amazing YouTube channel that has workouts you can do in the space of almost this desk. You don't need to be able to get to a gym. Something's gone a little haywire for you, and it's all going to be working out very soon. That Wheel of Fortune in the upright is a great increase. But this week, and you're like, I don't know why my collective is just being hammered on for this. Please find something to do that is not about your responsibilities and not about work. If you can't afford to take time off from work, that's okay. 2 hours at night where you read a book, where you look at graphic novels, if that used to be the thing that made you happy. If you want to like watch old Disney films because it reminds you of childhood, please do that. And the only reason I sound a little bit like, oh, please, is there is something so, an inner child, there is something like so lovely that is right there. And it is coming to you regardless. Your assignment for like the next week, and it's been a very interesting one because it's stretched across all 4 groups, is you are being asked to understand that life still has enjoyment in it. and you have lost that as a concept, and you're not looking for it in the ways that you need to be. Once more, I'm going to say, oh, please, please hydrate. It is incredibly important to balance. But this Four of Wands this is stability and happiness. It is also a twin flame card. The Empress is about loving life. You're being asked to find a way to celebrate your existence. The Fool in the upright is that leap of faith. It is exuberance and it is happiness. It can be starting again. So is the Tower in reverse. The Ten of Cups in reverse is like you're just unhappy overall with the state of affairs, and nobody can blame you, because the Chariot in reverse, like it's not even like there's a roadblock. It's like somebody took away the road, and it's not that you're over it. You're not despondent. You're resigned, and you've got so much coming to you, and you have a lot of personal power, and everybody in my collective is essentially very likely a light worker, and you've got work to do. And so resetting your vibration is a very, very important thing to do. Get more information. Page of Wands in the upright, Nine of Swords in the upright, Six of Pentacles in reverse. Take action to ease this anxious energy and restore balance. And once again, fun, 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 fun. Listen, call up a friend you haven't talked to in a long time. Like, even if you're just sitting there watching TV together, you can laugh together. Like, one of the funniest things that happened to me recently was I make like these money shaker and love shaker jars. And I made one for a good friend of mine who's just an incredibly kind soul. And I was starting it on a night I was doing a demonic entity removal. And I realized I probably shouldn't mix those energies. And so I set it aside for like the week that I needed to do this very long ritual on it. And I explained to her that I was like, yeah, no, it occurred to me we could be shaking that and all of a sudden it'd be boof, bam, bam, oh, Beelzebub. Like sincerely, it was one of the funnier things. And we laughed for we still joke about it. And it felt so good to laugh like that, even if it was about something dark. Interact with people who get you. Interact with something that reminds you of who you really are. We are more than our adversities. We are more than our obstacles. And we are more than this freaking year. It has been a bear, but it's almost over. And the Wheel of Fortune in the upright is about the circumstances turning in your favor once more. And here's the thing, in 2021, that's going to be the backswing of a pendulum. And you're going to need to be you again at a level that you have forgotten how to be, because you think that life has lost its spark. And it is very difficult to maintain the spark in the current times, but you're the spark. You're the spark, not the circumstances, not the life that you're living in, not the house that you're dwelling in, not your life energy. You are special and you are vibrant, and you are like, you're on a very dim burn right now because you're just so darn tired and so beleaguered. And you are super protected and super loved. And you also have so much coming up in the coming year that they're just saying, please, you're going to have to do it anyway. And you don't have to do anything, but it's coming to you anyway. Please try to find that piece of brightness, that piece of hope. Things are changing. Things are changing. I keep telling people there's a conjunction of, I think it's planets on December 21st. I'm not the biggest astrologer, but I'm sure there's somebody around who is. And there is something that is shifting on December 21st that we all kind of need to be prepared for. Because if you really are in the light worker, light warrior, healer, shamanic tradition, hostilities with the healer of the ages, you're part of the healing energy that this world needs. Most of the people who are in my collective, and it's part of the reason that like I will always have a fairly small channel compared to big readers, is that most of us have something in us that is not quite from here. And that's a really, really good thing. But if you've always felt a little bit apart, it is because you are a little bit apart. You have a role to play in a time of transition that is coming to us. And please find a way to be joyful again, because you were for a very long time under some very difficult circumstances. And it's only because the world got stuck under like this weird glass dome that you've stopped believing it. Your life has never been perfect. It has always been challenging. but you felt that there was hope going forward because you looked at the world around you and you thought there was something to go towards. The circumstances of 2020 has made you believe that there's nothing to go towards. Everything is changing. Everything is changing. Prepare. You're going to end up happier anyway, but like, you can be happier now if you will simply understand that you're different. You do. Let's get going. Is there anything in these romance angels for the week coming up? That was one of the least romantic reads ever, but we're going to check it anyway. 3 times I'm going to put you down and cut. 1 and 2. I menace my decks. Do what I say. And 3. Apparently I'm going to put you down and cut. All right. Codependency. I'm calling in your soulmate. Release your ex. Let go of control issues. Playfulness, playfulness, playfulness. All right. So collective that has managed to heal largely from codependency. You have this soulmate that is the twin flame energy. You may already be paired up. Like some people are very happily paired up and you've been going through 2020 with the person who is your person by your side. And I'm really, really glad for you. Some haven't been. And understanding that allowing the situation to unfold naturally, all this is a reminder to trust. Trust that like the world's going to get back on track. It is. It has been a really, really long time for some of us. For some of us, it's been like 4 years of like, oh my God, this is ever going to quit getting worse. Things are going to change. Energy is shifting. And December 21st is a very important date. As you head into that, please, for your own sake, things will change anyway, but you're that's a long way away. That's a few weeks away from, and you're not, the dark thoughts card is you have them. And I'm not criticizing you for that. Like it would be a miracle if you didn't. What a challenging time. And you've been through the poo. Please, please, please try to go a little bit more towards light. You have such an important function to play in the coming times. And you deserve the levity. You deserve the levity. You deserve the respite and understanding that all that you're hoping will come to you is still coming to you. The world got put on pause so we could all try and learn some lessons about ourselves, about the world around us. And like school's almost out. School's almost out. Start playing a little hooky. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. That was the Spirit Guide Weekly for this week. And if you'd like to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. I'd love a chance to read for you in real life. Take care of yourselves. Over and over and over again, we received the message this week that more than anything, the important part is finding the space to find happiness again, because things are shifting and things are changing, and you will be at your optimal power if you're able to find the way to reclaim who you are. Like you're a serious soldier sometimes, like you can get through it. And dawn is right there, and it's time to kind of take off the battle armor and start living life again a little bit. Take care. Be well. I'll see you next time.